Hello and welcome to Back to Basics for Tyroses all over the world, and we're pleased to be back here to give you a show, hopefully give you some tips and to help you with your progression as learning all these amazing features. I've got a Tyros 576 here, but most of the things I'm going to show you are going to work for all of the Tyroses, probably some of the SXs, probably the Geniuses too, so I hope that you get some nuggets of information. Hope as well I haven't got too many strange playing faces. I expect you know when you're playing you kind of move your face around a bit and you get involved with what you're playing, and I hope I don't look too stupid. So welcome to everybody who's joined us. Let's see who we've got with us already. Oh, Struth, there's loads of you. Hi Don O'Farrell down in Essex, nice to have you with us. Breezy, sunny and warmy, that's great. Hi Trevor Coleman, nice to have you with us too. And to Neville Jolly from Durham City, that's great to have you with us, Neville. Fred Curtis from Romford in Essex, another Essex man. Albert Roelant from France. Roelant, that's nice to have you with us from France. And Fred from Basildon. Let's have a look who else we've got. We've got Trevor Bunce. Hi Trevor, the guy who's always talked about in the magazines from Middlesbrough. Andy from Fife. We've got Rhode Island. Well, that must be one of the far away ones. So we've got Flex Pi 3. Ricky, how you doing Ricky? Up in Solihull. And Michael Harvey. Any news on the polo shirts? Well, we might have to set up a new business doing these shirts. They're quite cool, aren't they? A bit stretching into it a bit today, I think. Okay, Martin from South Wales. Good old South Wales. Oh, New South Wales. And in Oz, that's great. Great to have you from right over there. In Florida, we've got Old MacDonald. Brilliant. Trevor Bunce, Best Ricky. Alan Arneson from Warrington. Oh, hi, Alan. Nice to have you with us. And Terence Parker. Michael Foley, Michael Harvey. I know this is called Tyros Tipsters, but any chance of a Genos day? Well, we are actually going to do a Genos version of this. This is our practice go. We've started on Tyros. We're going to have an organ monthly feature where you can learn about different organs and ask your questions. We're also going to do one on the Genos, which will cover the SXs as well. So yeah, we're trying to cater for everybody. You've all got your own individual questions and needs, but we are there for you. And if it's an email or a question over the phone, or you want to pop it on the thing here, and we'll try and cover some of your questions today. Okay, so let's just go through. We've got Gareth Edwards with us from Lancashire, and Terence Parks, but my shoulder usually rises when playing. Well, I think it's more of one of these for me, so I'm sorry if it looks a bit awkward when I'm playing, but so we've all got our funny faces we play and do. Okay, let's have a look now. I've got some questions that people have sent in. The first one that someone asked, Robert Fred Sargent, asked, he's got a Tyros 2 and he's asked about what is best to play along with when he's using hymns. Now, some of the later models, yours won't have it, Robert, on the Tyros 2, have got a thing called free play. And the free play is designed to give you this full-on backing without any sort of beats or rhythms to go with. But for the Tyros 2, I would say there's a really clever thing you can do where, and that will work on all the models, where if we turn off the accompaniment button on this far left-hand side, and we just choose a sound like a church organ, let's go to the organ section, or we could, on this one, we could actually go to the organ world feature, which is 5 different types of organs, but I'm just going to choose a church organ sound, and I'm going to go to, what do we got on this one? Well, I can show you on just that chapel organ to start. If I play a lowered finger like I would a bass pedal on an organ, that gives me quite a low, rich, deep sound. So I could play. So I'm really playing the name of the chord or the bass pedal I would be playing. But I could just play one note in my left hand and that will sort of fatten out the bass. So instead of playing a chord with my left hand, I'm using just the open keyboard with no accompaniment button turned on. Now, if I go to one of the richer sounds, if I go to the big rich church organ sounds, then the bass is just phenomenal. I don't know how it will come out on your computers and iPads, but if I play that bass note, so that bass note is like the real rich big pipes on a church organ. That's just one note. So I'm not actually playing very many notes, but the amount of extra pitches and things that are coming in from all those pipes give me a really rich sound. Now, if you've got a later model like a Tyros 4 or 5 or Genos or SX, then what you can do is bring the accompaniment back in again, and if we go into one of the sections, it will give us a suitable backing that will work without any kind of big beats, because most hymns probably don't really want a lot of drums in the background. So if I go to the movie and show section and I go into something like choral hymn, which is the second one down on page 1, when I play a chord now, we get no backing beat. We just get a big full sound. and the one-touch settings. So anything that's got a free play listed along with the title of the rhythm, that means we're going to get what's called free play. There's no backing beat to it, but big fat sound. You turn the rhythm on, but you don't get any rhythm coming through. You just get that big full. So that's a really good way to use the accompaniments for hymns. Okay, I hope that's helped you, Robert. I will have a look on a Tyros 2 later and just see if there's anything that would work, but I don't think you've got the free play styles until 3s and 4s. I think there was a couple on Tyros 3 and then more on 4 and more on 5, so that's where you'll get the best effect. But certainly if you take the accompaniment off, just play one note, you get a really rich sound on there. Okay, I've got another question here from Chris Skinner. Hi Chris. Hello, I'm finding the Tyros 4 purchase from you fantastic. When you use a USB stick, does the chosen instrument break down? Can I increase the volume on certain instruments? Okay, so on the style section and the song section, we can actually break down what's playing and which tracks we want to be using. So if we start off with a style on the main screen, I'm just going to go to a rhythm. Let me go into the rhythm and blues section and we'll go into the 70s chart soul, okay? So what we can do on here is we can cut parts out that we don't want in the rhythm. If it's a jazz band, you maybe only want the drums and the bass player, but on a big band we get loads of things happening that we can take away, and sometimes taking some of the components from the backing rhythm makes it simpler but quite a nice style. So let's have a listen. I'm just going to play the rhythm in the background here. Okay, now what I can do, if I go to the channel button, this shows me all the different parts of the style. I've got rhythm, bass, chord, pad, phrase 1 and phrase 2. Now, if I go along the bottom here, I can turn them off and then I can bring them in one at a time. So the bottom row is to turn off. I don't know if you can see that, but it's changing it from on to off. So if I just leave the drums on, there's the Latin drums. Then I'll have the second drums on. And then the third one is bass. So if I play a chord, I've got that one on still. Okay, chords, second one, and they all together make a really good backing. Brass section. So together they make a really good combination. Now let's pick up the simplest one a moment. Let's see the difference. Okay, now I'm going to take some of the components out. So we'll take away everything except for the drums and the bass. And now we've got just the drums and the bass in the background. We can take some of the drums out because the first part is normally the sort of Latin extra percussion, and then the second one is the main one. So if we take out rhythm 1, it just simplifies it. Add the bass. Now we've got along here a piano we can add in. So the bottom of number 4 adds my piano in. Or I can have a guitar. I've got organ. I've got brass. Now that's not actually playing very much at the moment, but on some of the more elaborate backings, like the C backing, there we go, the brass is coming in now. And then the last one, baritone sax. So there's a little picture to show us what we're getting. So yes, on the styles we can take out different instruments and we can make this sort of setup of the style a little bit different by taking parts out. The other thing we can do is we can revoice the parts of the style. So if I put them all back on for a moment and start that off. If I take some away again. Okay, now we've got my bass line playing at the moment. Now we've got some questions also which I've got to cover for, who else was it for? For Jeff Sheldon in Hucknall. Hi Jeff, hope you're doing okay. And also for Martin Lloyd, and he's asked about how we can use the changes to the styles. Can we actually customize them to have our own backing? So what we can do, we can actually reprogram the voice and even down to the riff that the different instruments are playing to give us a totally different style of our own. So let's have a listen to it again. There's the drums, and I can have the bass. Now hear that bass playing. If I press the top of the button, we can see the instruments. Now the instruments that it automatically uses are the mega voices. Now the problem with mega voices is they're designed to give you particular riffs, but they don't always work when you're playing them because they're part of the style section. So what I would recommend, at the top of the buttons of number 8 here, press this up button and then press it again and go to the voices that are actually in the instrument, not in the mega voice section. So if I go back to page 1 and I'm going to go to my bass voices, and then when I play now, I can change the sound. Slap bass, half mute, multi-saw bass, and that's changing that backing. And you can, let's go back to a normal one again. So vintage round. Now we can go into every single instrument in that style backing and we can tweak the voices. So if I go into another one now, let's go out of there. Let's go to the chord backing. We've got a piano here. There's my piano. And again, if I press the top button, I can change it to a different sound. I could even come out of the pianos and change it to an organ sound. They won't always work very well. Guitar, steel guitar, flamenco, brass, so that means you can totally change the style to how you want it to sound with any voice from any section, and even the drums and things can also go through. So we can change that. Let's just go into the questions and make sure there's no one. Is there still a way to get around the right hand to pan, right hand to left as you play rather than just being static? Well, we can change which speakers it's coming from. So you could change the pan. I'll cover that in a minute, I think, because it's not quite the same. Well, it could be if you're using these instruments, but the idea is, I think you're probably talking about when you're playing the, is there a way to change the sound on the right hand play rather than just being static? So the sounds can pan. Yes, you could go into the voices and you could set them. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to work if you're in the style section. I'd have to just find out. I might find out for next time on that rather than make up something for you, Andy. But yes, I think you can do. So what we'll do, we'll put on that again. I'm going to go into the creator section this time. I'm just going to show you how you can actually change the riff. So if we're in that backing again, I'm going to go to the bass section. I want to change the actual riff. If you listen at the moment, what it's doing are the repetitive notes. So if we go to the creator button, just to the right of the screen here, and then we go to style creator, we can actually now see all these instruments again with a record feature. Now we can turn the record off for the drums, and on the bass, I'm going to turn on the bottom one, and that turns it on and off. And I want to delete the bass line that's in this. Let's play it again. Turn those all off. I'm going to delete the bass by holding the delete button and pressing the top of the bass. And that's now taking my bass line out altogether. I'm now going to revoice it. So I'm going to go to the top button and go to a sound that I want. Let's go to vintage flat. And I'm going to play a bass riff for the duration of that, which is 2 bars normally. So I'm actually going to play something in just in the key of C. So, right, I've got to choose the record first. So record and bass. And now when I play, and that's now repeated my bass line. So I can go through with each instrument of the backing and I can change the voice and I can actually play a riff that I want in the key of C. And then when I save this, if I show you now, when I go to the exit button and save, I need to call it a new name. So I'm going to call it 70s chart file DC. Okay. And that will, they'll save this as my own style with my own bass line. So when I play now, there's my backing, my bass line, and it changes with my chord. So we can actually put in our own riffs and our own voices and then we can save them as a user style. So have a go at that, and if you want any more questions answered, do email me in and I can go through it in more detail, or give us a ring. But it's a great way to manipulate one of the styles just to make it how you want. Even if it's just cutting instruments out, it's a really good way. Okay, let's have a look at the questions. Sing along with Clive. Many thanks, Dave, for sharing your keyboard knowledge. Don't be shy there. Okay, Gareth Edwards has retracted his message. Okay. Best Ricky, is there a firmware update for Genos and SX600? There's nothing too new, Ricky. I can check. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything for a few months now. Okay, let's have a look. Funny expression like that. Okay, so that's to give you an idea of the style section that we can do. Let's give you another song. I've been working on a song for Jamie Halliday. Most of you know Jamie Halliday does all our deliveries and our repairs, whose mum set up Whitley Bay organs, and he's a real dire Straits fan. So I've been working on a song that I particularly like from the olden days, which is called Your Latest Trick. And it's one of these things where you keep listening to yourself and think, I could add a bit more into it, but I've done a few bits. I've saved some settings into the keyboard. If any of you want any of the registrations I'm using, please ask and I can email them over to you. But I've put in a setting for Your Latest Trick, and I've tried to use some of the reverb to make the trumpet more echoey. And we've got the saxophone, really great saxophones on the Tyroses. So I've got the saxophones being used. See what you think. And this is called Your Latest Trick. Now, one thing I'm doing as well is there's a bit where I have to change sounds, but I want the rhythm to stop. So I tap my foot to bring it back out the synchro stop. See if you notice it. Okay. Okay, I hope you like that. That's your latest trick. And if you want the registrations, do get in touch and we can send them over to you. I use the fade at the end. That's quite nice just to drift it out. Let's just go through any questions for you. Okay. Gareth said, thanks. You've just asked my question. You can save them. Yes, you can. Okay, certainly did. Sing along with Clive from Swansea. Michael Harvey, that's great. And you're in Stockton-on-Tees. Oh, great, excellent. And Clive's in Swansea. Okay, Fred Curtis, I can never seem to get a very convincing panpipe sound on the Tyros 5. Any ideas? Excellent, thanks Paul Ashby. Linda Fisher, nicely played. Thank you very much. Well, it's quite nice to actually spend some time working something out, because when we're in the shop, we're kind of busy doing our other things and answering questions that we don't have to make time to play a bit. So it's quite nice to have an excuse to try and wake some sounds up and fiddle around with the best way to fit it in. The thing that you've got to remember is that when you're playing and you're copying a whole band, you're never going to get it that close, because there's so many components and instruments that they're all playing. But a lot of demonstrators do pre-record. It made me think maybe some of the guitar parts I could have recorded, and then you've got to keep it up with the sequence every time, so it makes it a little bit harder. But you do see some of the demonstrators where they've got a track with all the extra bits and they're playing the melody while it's playing along with them, and that's great to do. It just takes a lot of playing correctly, and I'm probably not good enough for that. Okay, so the question you just mentioned then was the panpipes. Let's just have a quick look for you then, Fred. In the woodwind section, we can go into the choice, and I'm sure there's a good panpipe in there. Maybe you're a bit more critical. There's a pan flute. Well, that's pretty good, isn't it? We can put a bit of a bend on it. We can put the pitch bend and just bring it up. So I'm just bringing the pitch bend down and back up again. So that's the built-in pan flute. Hopefully you'll get to like it a bit more, but it's a nice sound. I think it's nicely done. Okay. Oh, the Lonely Shepherd. Yeah, well that would be perfect for that. So let's have a look. Get the right sound again now. I've just got rid of it, haven't I? If you've got one touch setting, the OTS link button on here, when you go to a new style, it automatically changes all your sounds. So you've got to make sure you turn that off if you want to retain the sound that you've got when you're going into it. So let's just see. In fact, I'm just going to use the movie and shows. A great style here called Ethereal Movie, and it gives me this big fat sound again with no rhythm. Turn the rhythm on. Sounds okay to me, but maybe you've got a better idea of it now. But that's how I would do. I'd put one of the free played styles on, and you've got that nice smooth backing, and the woodwind sound there is really effective. Okay, let's see if we've got some more questions that people have emailed in to us. Right, Martin Lloyd, you've asked us about the Martin Lloyd in Bedford. You've asked us about the loop system. Now, if I'm really honest, I hadn't realised there was a looper built into a Tyros 5. And we've been going on about the new SX 900s and the 900s and the Genoses with this looper facility. And there's already one on a Tyros 5 that you can use. It's probably on Tyros 4 actually, but for some reason, these buttons under the recording section, I've never really got focused on. So I'm going to show you now how it works. The idea is that you can put some marker points into a song, and it will keep repeating around that marker point for you. So we've got SP 1, 2, 3 and 4, which are the points that you can mark in a song that you've recorded, and then you can keep playing that one section back, maybe while you record, or maybe while you want it to play back while you're practicing alongside. So what we can do, let's go into a song. I'm just going to record something very basic into the instrument. I'm going to go to the new song feature, and I'm going to go record and stop together. In the audio recorder is one like a tape recorder. The MIDI recorder is the one we're going to use for this facility. So I'm going to press record and stop together, and then I'm going to press record, and I'm just going to quickly choose a suitable rhythm. I'm going to go into acoustic jazz, and I'm just going to play a bit of Blue Moon for you. So let's see, what sound do we have left on there? I'll put a piano on. Okay, simple backing, and we're just going to record in now. Turn the rhythm on. I'm going to do it without the melody this time. And we've got the hard bit in the middle. Da, 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 da. Oh, I got it wrong. Made a mistake there, but the principle is we can now play that back and we can put in these points. So when I play it back now, double tap the one you want to be your starting point. And I'm going to double tap now a bit further along when we get to the end of this first section. And I'm going to double tap SP2. That's without the backing. Okay, so that's enough to show you now. We've got two sections. We've got the one without me playing, and we've got the one with me playing. We could have the middle eight and the chorus and everything else we want to do. So if I press this one now and press play, that's me playing it with the melody. If I change it to the second one, it's just doing it without now. And I could go back to the one with it playing again. So the idea is we could have lots of sections to a song that you either want to play along with while it's playing back, even if you've got the melody already starting to be played in, or if you want to just record the chords in, and then you could then play over the top with your melody or even both hands. So the case of this section here is that you can play in certain parts. And if you want to keep practicing a particular part, we can use this loop button, and that will just keep playing it over and over again. So you can practice and practice and practice until you get it right, rather than having to keep doing that left hand yourself. So the facility here is for recording something in. You could have up to 4 different sections saved with a song, and you could loop them so they keep playing back, and then you can play over the top. So that is a looper. So Martin Lloyd, yes, there is a looper. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. It's a really good facility, and that's just up here with the recording section. Okay, let's see what else we've got in questions then. Jeff Sheldon asked about the styles. We did that where we can add different parts of our own. Martin Lloyd, foot pedals, okay. This is a good question actually, Martin, so I've thought it's a good one to mention. I've attached a pedal to my Tyros 576 to set trigger fills, but each time I restart the keyboard, it forgot the preference and reverts back to the default. I've even tried the pedal function frozen. Okay, so what we can do is we can actually use the facilities on the keyboard to save in how we want the pedals to be, but you have to store them within a registration, because if you come back to the keyboard later on, it defaults to different settings. So what we can do is we can go to direct access, and I can tap my pedal, and on the screen, if we can go in, we can see here it's currently set to synchro stop. Okay, now if I go down to, let's set it down to, what was the one you were using it for, with? Controller 2, custom trigger, another pedal, switching, okay, switch 2. So we can use it for whatever we want, but unless we store it into one of these registrations, it will be lost. So as soon as I press one of these registrations, see it's jumped back, look, to the facility that it was already set to when it was recorded. So what I would suggest is you could make a sort of a startup set. If you're going to use this and then just play it, you could set your own sort of startup set of registrations that would be how you want the pedals to stay in, and you just choose those at the beginning. So the best way I would say to do that is turn the keyboard off and hold down the black note, the second note from the top, and that will then clear all this blank to a blank set of registrations. And then you could set your pedals and all the things. Now when you press this memory button to store in your registrations, one of the tick boxes on the screen says pedals, and you've got to make sure that that is ticked so that when you memorize it into one of the buttons, the pedal settings are retained as well. And that means then we can store in up to our 8 settings, save them as a name. It might be startup or something, and then every time you come to the keyboard you can press your button and that will be all of your settings that you want, rather than the settings that keep coming back, and you've always got those set in then. So it's a good way to put your sort of favoured settings in. You can use the freeze button, but again you'd have to have them set in and then press freeze. So it might be that you always want to use your pedal in the same way. You could store it in, save it into a registration, and you could bring that up like we've just done. But if you want to go into other registrations that we've given you ourselves or that are in the keyboard or from other friends and things, then when you go into other ones it's going to lose it. So what I would do is we'll go direct access and freeze, and we're going to untick all the boxes that are not the pedal one. So we're going to go to pedal and tick it with the top number 8, and tempo, untick it. So the only tick now is pedal. This is in the freeze. I went direct access and freeze, and that means now that I can set my pedal up, I can press the freeze button, and that means that whatever registration I go into, it will keep my pedal settings as long as the keyboard is turned on. So that's a good way of kind of getting around it. You could just do it on one registration, but I mean you could go into all your registrations and individually save them in, but it's quite a long job. So I think the freeze button is a good way around it, that you can save the pedals how you want them, save it into registration, save it with a name, come to it every time you start playing, and then set that freeze button to just holding your pedals in, and then that will just hold the way you want them. Now the other question that you asked, Martin, was can you have more than one pedal in? Yes, you can. They can be all volumes, they can be all switch pedals, they can be the deluxe ones, they can be the basic ones. They don't have to be a Yamaha one, but the Yamaha ones are pretty fail-safe and rigid. But the idea is that you can have 3 pedals. So you might have the right hand one like a piano for sustain, you might have volume on one of them, and you might have a start-stop on your rhythm, or a synchro start, or an intro, or a change. So many options, and the way you can look through them, press direct access, then press one of your pedals that's plugged in, and on this screen here you can see all the options you've got for all the things that you can do with the pedal, and there literally are loads to go through. And you could even decide on what they're assigned to, whether they're assigned to all the different sections. So this is the switch that goes through them. Look, and this shows you the ones that can be assigned, like pitch bends just come up, and you can decide on the range of the pitch bend and which voice you want it to be working for. So that's a really good feature, and you could set that to one of your pedals, maybe for like a glide or a pitch bend facility. Okay, let's see if we have any more questions. I hope that's helped, Martin. Okay, Albert Roland, you're the guy in France, aren't you? Albert, how can I get a nice Hammond sound from the Tyros 4? Well, I mean, the sounds in the Tyros 4, I'm pretty sure you've got drawbars in the Tyros 4. Maybe we should bring a Tyros 4 out next time, but the the organ world is on the 5, and that actually gives you a section called Vintage where you get these drawbars, but they are in the Tyros 4 as well, the drawbars. I can send you an email if you want just to go through it, but if you get onto this drawbar sound, you've got slow and fast Leslie speaker effect, and we can have the Leslie on fast, get the fast Leslie, or slow. A big part of the drawbars is what sound you actually want to create, because the Hammonds are so varied. I mean, you used to be able to buy little cards that you pushed onto the drawbars to get a trumpet sound or a clarinet sound or something. So the sounds that you could make were trying to resemble different instruments from the drawbars and the different footages. Essentially, with the drawbars, you've got to think, well, do you want a full range? And for a clean sound, you probably just want the 16-foot drawbar and maybe a 4-foot or a 2-foot. maybe with the Leslie, that fast sound. If we turn that back again, if we go to a 16 and a 2, it's a bit brighter. But we can bring in these awkward ones, these 2 2/3 and 5 1/3. Oh! And they give you all these different combinations. The other thing we can do on this, which is really clever, if we go to the D button and go across to volume and attack, we can get rid of all the sharpness, the poppy, clicky sounds. So we have on here the 4-foot's on at the moment. Let me turn that off. And that one. I'm just going to go back to the drawbars and get rid of the 2 2/3 and the 5 1/3. There we go. So let's just listen to that again now. Okay, we've got rid of the brightness and the poppiness, but we can bring this RESP, the response, and that will soften the sound down. So if when I bring this one down, so if you want a really soft sound, using the volume and attack for moving with the D button, we can actually bring this response fully on. And it's a much softer, sweeter sound, so that's quite nice to bring in as well. But I think on the 4 you've got the same drawbar facility. It's strange you move on to these new models and you kind of forget what was on the previous ones because we've all moved forward a little bit. But yes, I think you'll find on the 4 you've got that same section. Okay, let's have a look what else we've been asked. Shepherd. I've got a big thing that's just popped up here. Okay, David, did you provide a Panpipe you could download? Yes, there is a Panpipe sound in some of the registration, the expansion voices that you can get for free off of Yamaha's website now. So if you wanted to have an expansion board in a 4 or a 5, or on a Genos, you've already got plenty of expansion memory, you can actually get extra voices. And we, as a part of our service now, we load into a Genos or an SX 25 in the Genos, 15 expansion packs. They used to be 50, 60, 70 pounds each, and each of those have a set of styles and a set of voices that we include now as if you buy them from us in the later years, and they're extra voices that just additionally give you extra better sounds or as good as sounds, but different variations. So the expansion voices are really good. I've got a question here. Just wondered, has not seen your reports HF recently. Not sure what HF is. Blue one at the top. Can you take a few minutes? Blue one at the top. One in blue at the top. Sorry? One in blue at the top. The one in blue. Can you take a few minutes to tell it? Oh, I see, okay. Panpipes can be found in the legacy woodwind section. Yes, this is true. So Martin, well done for that. There is another section of voices which you can go into. You've got the panel voices. If we go into any section and then we use the up button in the bottom right of the screen here, and that takes us up to the voice section, go to page 2 and we've got a button called Legacy, and this gives us another set of voices additional to what's on the panel. And if we go into the let's have a look. If we go into page 2, we've got synths and pads, we've got a woodwind section, and there'll be, I'm sure, another pan flute here. Look at an ethnic flute as well, and another pan. There we go. So we've got voices that we can go into, which will give us extra choice from what's built into the instrument. Okay, Trevor's put long time no here. 73S. Hope you're well. Good to hear from you, Trevor. I think you're all talking to each other on the chat. That's nice. That's excellent. Okay, so we've asked you to do a little questionnaire. That will really help us. We also ask at the bottom of the video, there's a little thumbs up like, and if you could put a little thumbs up tick on there, that will be great, because that means that more people will find us and YouTube will share us to other people who play, and then more people will get the benefits of the tips we're offering. So please do put that little like up there if you get a chance. We'd be very grateful. Something else as well, on our website you can choose to have regular newsletters. We send out newsletters to give you more information about the shop and deals and things that we're doing, and more of these shows like this. So do register on the newsletter front, and then you can get more details about what we're offering. Okay, I've got one more song in the bank to play. Let's just see what it's called. It's called Yesterday. I'm sure you've heard of this by the Beatles. Now, what I do when I do a song, I like to be able to see the registrations as I'm choosing them. And what we can do, we've chosen it in the registration area. We go into these two registration bank buttons on the panel. And then we go into I've got them in my HD1 section, and I've gone into this one here yesterday. But I've got another button called Info at the bottom of number 6. And that shows me the name I've called it. And it also shows me the rhythm and the style and the speed and the A, B, C or D variation. It shows it me all on the screen. So when I'm playing, it might be a little bit bright on your screens, but you can actually see what you're choosing from the buttons. They go orange when you choose them. So when you're playing, it's quite a handy page to have up if you've got registrations that you can bring. So let's have a go. This is yesterday. I'm starting off, you can see I'm starting off with a harmonica. Okay, let's see what it sounds like. Okay, I hope you like that. Okay, a few people have asked me about my background into music. So I started off learning a keyboard with my father, who he bought a sort of a cheap, I think it was a Gem keyboard, and we both sort of fiddled around on it. And then the local music shop started doing group organ lessons. So we went to this demonstration, and he bought a little Yamaha B4CR, I think it was, which was a 2 keyboard organ with bass pedals. And that was how I got started. It was a a thing where we were both learning, and my father and I both sort of egged each other on to practice more, and I think he was better than me and following the music, and I was more playing a bit by the ear and sort of bluffing my way through really. But we had lessons for probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months with a local shop. It was group lessons where you take your headphones off and play to the teacher and then put them back on again, and then you have a practice while he goes around everybody else. So you didn't really get much time with the teacher. So we then moved from there to individual lessons with a teacher who came to our house, and we had a better organ. We bought a C55 Yamaha, I think it was then, and then went to a D65, which was a bit more better speakers and a bit more sounds to vary. And then I got a job in the local music shop that was opening up. There was a new guy, Glenn Durgis, opened up this shop, and I worked for him as a Saturday boy. And that was great, going after school, going school holidays, and loved working in a music shop and playing all the organs. It was a great fun time. And then it got to a point where I was going to leave school, and he offered me a youth training scheme. So I went on a youth training scheme and worked every day bar Wednesday, which was the college day, to do a business studies course. And then from there it went to full-time. He took me in full-time, and I'd got a full-time job in a music shop. So that was my start. And then a few years later I've opened my own shop. That was 26 years ago. Opened the shop in Banbury, and Chris started with me about 17, 18 years ago, and we've carried on sharing our fun of the instruments from there onwards, and it's been a great journey. But it's such a good, lovely hobby, and we've had a great time to share all our sounds and ideas with people and listen to everybody else's ideas. I mean, we're in a very lucky position. People come to see us and they show us things that they've learned, and so we can learn little shortcuts off them, as well as the great demonstrators of the Yamahas of this world. So we've been very fortunate. I've had a lovely musical life. I hope you found today useful. I'll thank you all for your comments. I appreciate all your notes that you've put in there. This will go live on our YouTube channel, ePianos, so you can watch it again if you want to get any notes from it. Any questions for the next one? We're doing one in a month's time again, so please do send in your questions. We're also going to do a Genos one, so if there's any more Genos specific questions, do go out to our website, ePianos.co.uk, and there's a new section. If you go to the support in the top middle of the page, there's 3 choices. There is Piano Chooser, which helps you to look for which piano you might want to buy or keyboard you might want to select. There's also a video section, and you can go into all the videos for Tyros, all the videos for Genos, and we've racked up quite a lot of videos now, so there's a lot of library of videos that you can go back into and watch them all. And there's another section that I've forgotten. Can anyone help me with the third section? The blogs. Now the blogs are there to give you lots of advice. They're written out step by step, how to make sound changes or adjustments or recording. So do look at the blogs as well. They're all there to help you. I hope you found this video useful. Do keep in touch, and we'll see you again soon. Take care.